Hello, it's Julie at Love's Beginning with a talk called Always Surrounded by Friends. Okay, so the first idea I was given was you are always surrounded by friends, even when you have given them the enemy's guise. So this is another way of looking at how we feel all the time. How we feel whenever we're looking at or thinking about anybody we think is else. If there is the least edge, the least dullness, the least density present, there is something to be shifted there in perception. I am the one who throws the enemy costume upon anybody else, and that costume can be very subtle. And I know I'm throwing a costume by my feeling. And it's okay to discover that there is this edge or this dullness or this critical quality present almost all of the time. Like I'm throwing the enemy disguise on everybody all of the time. I think we all have to come to this crossroads where we see it and feel it and understand, oh, something can shift, something fundamental can shift here. I'm always surrounded by friends, but for some reason I will put the enemy disguise on them. And one of the enemy disguises is saying, you are my special friend. You are my friend when this other one isn't. You please me. You fall in line with what I want. You flatter me. You agree with me. That's one of the enemy disguises I will throw on somebody I call other. But to see everybody in their perfect equality, that feels much different. So that's the opportunity I always have. Because we do have the ability to feel, we can know when we're throwing an enemy disguise on anybody, even in a way we call positive. And that's the starting point for finding the thought I'm attached to, letting the thought go, allowing what we all are together to just move in. It's always here, just to allow sight of it to return and to allow it to run everything. Okay, then we draw your attention to future focus. He's going to, she's going to, I'm going to do thus and such. They're going to, it's going to rain, it's going to storm, it's going to be a great day, it's going to be an awful day. All this going to stuff. My attention has been drawn to that a lot, where I leave the present moment. And just the idea of not leaving the present moment has really come to me. It's like I've never even considered it before. I'm so accustomed to leaving it. And now, and when it's suggested to me that I stay here, it's like I get it on a deeper level than I ever have before. Oh, I could really just stay here and not leave it, and everything can be provided for me here in this eternal moment. I don't have to leave it. But when I hear my thoughts attempting to anticipate what the conditions around me are going to do, or what persons around me are going to do, or what I'm going to do, same as if there's a focus on the past. He did, she did, they did, I did. same exact thing. But for some reason it's been drawn to future focus more lately. And I've really been noticing, so as I'm able to notice, I'm also able to return to presence, to rest. So that feels very good. That feels like an expanding, stable foundation, to be reminded of that presence so much and to know we all have the ability to rest in that presence. I don't have the ability if you don't. If you have the ability that I do, I mean, we're all mirrors for each other. Okay, future focus brings you into the territory of deciding about things you have no idea about. And that's another lovely thing that's becoming more and more obvious. I don't know. As a separate one with a separate built-up identity, I don't know anything about anything, and I don't have to. Any apparent knowing that needs to come into this moment can. For example, I know how to operate a car. They seem to. And if, somebody asks me to show them something, to pass on some skill, like with a child and cooking or whatever it is, I can. It seems to be within my ability to do that. But I don't have to leave the present moment. I can just offer whatever it is I seem to have. And I do not have to make decisions. From the perspective of the separate self, all of that burden is gone. Because if I allow all of that burden to be gone, everything just unfolds. It just becomes very obvious. So all the burdens of the things we think we as separate ones have to do, decide, take care of, figure out, that can leave us as we recognize we are not this separate one. This separate one doesn't exist. But life still seems to roll on and decisions still seem to be made. They're just happening now. And it's all laid out for us on a path that seems more obvious. Future focus leaves you dangling and casting about. Yeah, there's this feeling I've become more aware of, this searching feeling. When I'm trying to figure something out, and I'll realize how useless it is to engage in that, and I'm able to, what do I want to say, withdraw from it, just drop it. I'm able to drop it and be here and understand that the way gets made obvious for us. It's just the same thing over and over. When I have that feeling of the separate self, trying to manage and plan and figure out, I recognize, oh, this does not bring happiness. And I'm able to stop. I think through our practice, our commitment to noticing how we feel, to noticing what we're thinking, this becomes more and more obvious. And while the habit of trying to micromanage a future isn't gone, we can just become aware of it, drop out of it, become aware of it, drop out of it, and then it's not a problem. We always have the resources to respond to whatever's passing through our mind at this moment. We can just let it pass instead of attaching to it and trying to operate from it. Okay. I had one more thing. Any ideas you need to act upon can effervesce up from stillness. So the more I rest here in presence and stillness with what you truly are, ideas will just come. They don't have to be struggled for or invented or earned. They just come. And as they come, it's obvious to follow them, and they can be followed easily. And if another idea is needed, it will come too. So I think faith builds and trust builds that if an idea is needed, it will bubble up, it will become obvious, and we can follow whatever comes up. We're provided with all the resources and abilities we need to do whatever it is we need to do. So we're always surrounded by friends, and our way is always made obvious for us as we're willing to see that. If I'm going to try to hold anything else in the way of that, then I'll have a different experience. But the fact remains, the beings we're surrounded by are the light itself, and the path we're on can make itself obvious to us. There doesn't have to be a separate self struggling to dictate what the path is or what it will be. So there's a lot of rest there, and I appreciate that rest. And I'm wishing you happy healing and restful times. Thank you.